Hello, welcome everybody. Yes, I'm back. We're going to talk about monsters and what you can do with monsters. We'll see how we go today. I think I may have some technical issues at my end for some strange reason, but we'll see if we can fix that in a second. Yes, we're definitely making a monster today. For those of you who are wondering, absolutely will be making a monster, so you don't need to worry about that. I will say this, that I will be putting up a poll to ask you what type of monster we're going to make. And my suggestion, use the poll to decide what we wind up making in the end. I have a presentation like always, and we'll see what we wind up doing eventually. Okay, so I think we're almost ready to go. And yeah, we're going to buzz into this. I want to be quick. Make sure you get some food, some drink. Make sure you're comfortable, and we're going to go over how to make your own monsters. And then tomorrow we're actually doing some monster stat block stuff, so that'll be interesting too. Okay, cool. Let's get moving. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about how to go about making your own monsters. That's right. If you want to make your own monsters, if you want to have something that is your creation, how would you go about doing that? And this is all part of Game Master Preparation. Lesson 3, Building Monsters. And in this, today we'll be covering the following. I'm going to be going over monster stat block builders for different game systems, very quickly, how to do that. Inspiration for your monster creation. Dealing with the monster building process and how to go about doing that as well. Monster story questions you need to answer to deal with the lore for your monster. Monster design and creation, and miscellaneous recommendations. So the overview is I'm going to explain how to build a monster, the conceptual stuff, the stat block stuff for your tabletop role-playing game. I'm going to demonstrate part of that today and get you to be part of that as well. Okay, should be a fun time. So monster stat block builders, creature builders, things like that. Where can we get them? How do they work? Well, let's start off with the basics. I would advise you that probably one of the best tools that you can use out there are the generators. There are generators that will build the thing for you rather than you figuring out all the maths. So Pathfinder 2nd Edition, or PF2E monster tool, it's for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, that will make monsters for you if you're playing Pathfinder. If you're playing Call of Cthulhu, then the Call of Cthulhu creature creator, or generator, should I say, the creature, Call of Cthulhu creature generator. You look that website up and you'll be able to get quite a bit of stuff done. Starfinder Monster Builder, for anybody playing Starfinder. If you're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5e, there is the Stat Block Builder, okay, the D&D 5e Stat Block Builder, and of course there are many builders for 5e. You've got Glyphs Monster Maker, you've got the Monster Shuffler. ChatGPT can make monster stat blocks for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, but other tabletop role-playing games out there, if you're interested, there are ways of getting it done rather than having an existing model or computer program or app to do that for you. If you're dealing with an older version of D&D or a different game system, quite often it will be able to still do that sort of thing, which is really, really useful. Okay. So inspiration for your monster creation, what does that look like? I would suggest brainstorming on a page of paper with a pen or a pencil, writing down words, draw a little sketch. Doesn't have to be any good, just to give you an idea of what you're dealing with. Use books, movies, video games, music as your inspiration. Google search and Pinterest art, great places to get images to sort of get your idea going. You can also use ArtStation, DeviantArt websites. Now, I'm not saying you take that artwork. What I'm saying is you can use that as an inspiration for what sort of monster you want. Combination of real animals, like combining real animals and fantasy monsters together. Like you can take any kind of animal. This is what AD&D did. Any animal, combine it together, you get a new monster. You can take fantasy animals and combine them. You can have variations on those things. Then random generated charts and tables of different aspects of a monster, and that is what we're going to do today. We're going to be using an example here where I have lots and lots of different tables, and we'll build the monster for you, okay, by just rolling some dice. It should be a bit of fun. So make sure you have some dice ready, because you might have some dice rolling to do, okay. The next part is the monster building process. Like there is a process for going through and doing this. We kind of given you the inspiration process, but how do you go about building a monster? Create a monster concept. That's what we did first. That's our brainstorming process. Maybe draw a little picture, a lot of little notes around that picture. Describe the monster's appearance. You can select an image, or you can draw a picture if you want. If you can get your kids to draw on the monster if you prefer. You can use software like artificial intelligence, like Midjourney and Starry AI. Stable Diffusion is probably better. Hotpot AI, all those sorts of things can draw a monster for you, but it can be hit and miss, and you can wind up with all sorts of weird things going on. So if you're looking for something very, very specific, then maybe you might have to do it yourself. Develop some special abilities for your monster, something that makes this monster stand out from every other monster. Give the monster a name that matches the monster concept. This is not always absolutely vital, but it certainly helps narrow down what the monster is. Okay? Make up a story for your monster. Give this the history of your monster in some way. Decide on what sort of ecology and habitat the monster has. Decide on how it goes about fighting in combat, the combat tactics. Give your monster a motivation in the world, and maybe the motivation it has when the characters encounter it, or some sort of characters encounter it. Some lore for your monster. Those are the sorts of questions I would suggest. Like, try to answer a lot of those things. Building the monster stat block is the last thing you do, okay? I always recommend do the monster stat block last, don't do it first. It is easier to build a stat block after you have the monster's conceptual stuff and the lore behind your monster done than to do it the other way around, where you start with a stat block and go the other way around. It doesn't work very well, okay? Do all the maths last. Do not chase that mathematical unicorn for the monster stat block when you're creating it. It does not need to be perfect. In fact, no monster stat block for any game system is perfect. You have to understand there are too many variables involved for it to be a mathematical equation that always works, because at some point you have to roll dice with the stat block, and that really kind of changes everything. So all you can do is be consistent with your maths for your monster. You can't predict the difficulty of a monster by a stat block. It's unlikely, okay? Very, very unlikely. It's really an impossible task, which is why I call it the unicorn, the uncatchable mathematical equation or formula. It's not achievable. Okay, next, let's deal with the monster story. And fortunately for me, I have a relationship where I talk to AJ Pickett a lot, and he talks to me about how he goes about looking at how monsters work. And he does a lot of research, but he also has a lot of holes to fill. And quite often there are many holes that he has to fill, and he has to think about things that maybe somebody else has not decided to think about. So where do your monsters live? What's the normal environment for the monsters to live in? And if it's not living in its normal environment, whether if that's the sea or land, why is the monster currently in the location that it is for this adventure? Or if it's been displaced in some way, why has it been moved out of its normal habitat, its normal environment? So where does it live? What does the monster want? What is its motivation? What is its goal? Or what does the monster want from the characters? Not just from the world, but from the characters when the characters will interact with it. What makes your monster here unique? What makes the monster scary? If it is meant to be scary, and it should be scary, then what actually makes it scary? Possibly combine a few different ideas and abilities to actually achieve this. If your monster is not meant to be scary, then make sure your lore behind the monster is not scary. What does it feed on? What does it eat? What does it consume? How does this monster survive? What is the monster's territorial range? So if it has a lair or a nest or a place where it resides, how far will it extend? Will it go 1 mile from that location or 50 miles? How far will it roam? And how does the monster's senses work? So how does this monster sense other creatures or prey in the environment, or even the environment itself? And what does the monster ignore? There are things that the monster won't be interested in, and it will just ignore those things. So what are they? How does the monster communicate? Does it speak, have a language? Does it communicate with clicks? Does it use sense of smell and body language? Like, how does it communicate? How does your monster reproduce? In other words, how does it have babies, offspring, things that will become other monsters later on? Does this monster actually reproduce? Maybe it's one of a kind and there can never be another one. How does it change the environment by living in a specific place? Because all animals and creatures change the environment they live in some way. So how does this monster interact with its environment and change the way the environment responds in some way? So these are all questions in terms of the story of your monster. But of course, we're not finished. We have to actually start looking at some of the design factors. Probably we're starting to head into more of the maths of things, but not quite yet. So monsters design and creation is broken down into selecting what you want your monster to do. Select the difficulty of your monster. How hard is the monster? Is it an easy monster to deal with? Is it a moderately difficult monster? Is it a really hard monster? Or is it, the most powerful monster you could possibly come across? What is the role of your monster when you put it into a battle or into an environment, but primarily for a battle? Is it a solo monster? Does it fight alone? Is it a leader that leads other monsters? Is it a soldier and fight in the front line? Is it artillery? In other words, does it shoot things from a distance? Is it a controller? Does it change the environment around it? Or is it a skirmisher that jumps into combat in melee and then jump back out of combat? Okay? Can it jump in and out? Does it move around a lot? Select the ability or attribute score for your monster that makes sense. And how long the monster will survive or how much health it has. Like hit points, okay, hit dice, things like that. Really, when you're dealing with how long the monster survives, it's really just a ticking clock, and you have a numerical value that sort of determines that. Assign the monster's features. These might be things like traits, things that are always in effect. And then on top of that, you'll need to have things like special abilities for the monster. Now, a feature or trait might be that it can fly, and it can always fly. It doesn't have to think about doing that, it just flies. Or it swims in the water, it can always swim. It can breathe underwater, it can always breathe underwater. But special powers and abilities are limited in some way. It cannot do that all the time. It has to focus and concentrate on doing that action. Okay, birds do not have to necessarily concentrate that much on flying. Maybe, but it does have to concentrate on dropping a poo on you. But special abilities might consist of breathing fire if you're dealing with a dragon. Okay, it has to actually engage in pulling the chemicals from the glands into place and then lighting it with some sort of spark. Maybe it's grinding its teeth, who knows? And then, bim, you've got a fire breath. What sort of attack does the monster make with the mechanics of your game? Is it going to bite, claw? Does it have a grapple? Does it have tentacles? What sort of attacks does it have? Build the monster's special abilities and attacks, and you can use things from Dungeon Master guides and Game Master guides to do this. It's not as hard as it might seem. You just need to have a resource for that. And most game systems, if they're any good, will have something like that for you to actually pull from. Make the mathematical adjustments to your stat block for your monster. So once you've gone through and done the general stuff, then you're going to look at how it all comes together, and is it still sitting in line with the difficulty of the monster that you wanted. Okay. You can also, sometimes these game systems have quick monster stat block guides or tables. The Dungeon Master Guide for D&D 5e has one. It is not correct. It's on 274 of the Dungeon Master Guide. So 5e does not have a completely accurate one, but there are tables out there that have been modified for that system. But other systems will have tables and guidelines to help you figure out what you should be doing in terms of the maths of your monster. Once you've done all that, once you've done all the general stuff, and then you've done the sort of tidy up, then you will finally determine what the monster stat block maths are in terms of difficulty. That is the last thing you consider, whether that's monster level, challenge rating, you're dealing with creature level, whatever it might be, okay? If there's a rating system for it, not all systems have a rating system, this is where you'll deal with that. And something like 5e Tools CR Calculator has a website. You can use that if you want. There are other places that have other tools. I'm going to warn you now that most of these tools aren't very good. They presuppose that you can actually figure out this stuff and that it will be accurate and that the play testing and the calculations are based on science. And really, no, they're not. My field of study is psychology. Psychology is not a field of science truly. It is what is called a pseudoscience. In other words, there are some things we can test and some things that we can never test. And unfortunately, game design science or game design mathematics is like that too. There are too many factors involved that you cannot predict everything. So you can't really attach numbers and ratings to things and think that you'll be perfectly all right. It doesn't work that way. The monster will always feel unfinished. So don't let your perfectionist side of you come out and stop you completing the monster. Sometimes it's just good enough, okay? Do not get tied up into thinking that game designers and companies spend bucket loads of time play testing monsters and that the level and skill of what they're doing is better than what you could do. Because I can assure you, quite often it may well not be. Because the play testing they do is actually quite limited. It's not as broad as you might think. Their time schedules are quite small. I know about this because I was part of the playtest for D&D 5e, the Monster Manual. Okay, I know what their time schedules were, and those time schedules were quite similar in previous versions of D&D. And and I can assure you the framework time for almost all games are like that too. Okay, it is easy to get fixated on the stat block building aspect of a creature creation. Please don't get fixated on the monster's stat block. Okay. Instead, concentrate on the narrative of your monster. It's more important than the stat block. It is what will drive your story, your adventure, the interaction that you players have with the monster, the emergent play, the emergent plot that will occur. Like whatever is going on, you want to have the narrative be strong. Avoid judging the value and quality of your monster because you aren't likely to be making it to sell in the open market. And as I said, the open market frankly doesn't do a lot of play testing, and a lot of their stuff is not as well play tested as you might be led to think. So do not get caught up into that nonsense. Okay, you can make your own stuff. That's my advice to you. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you to my patrons who support me so I can keep running this program. I really do appreciate it. Please go out there and make your own stuff. Not just the stat block, but make the lore as well. You can do it. It is not as hard as you might think. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Just give me a second, people. I'm just keeping an eye on what's going on with my computer, and I notice there's a lot of resources being used today. It's jumping back and forth. I do hope that this means that the live stream is in excellent condition. Well, that's good news. I'm happy to hear that. I was a little bit worried that maybe the quality of the live stream would fall apart if I had problems with software. I don't think it's internet. I think it's software, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we're making a monster today. We haven't made a monster from sort of scratch for a while, and I thought that would be a nice thing to do. So let's have a go at doing something like that. Those of you who are in the chat, you need to start voting. Okay, so that we have an idea of what we're going to make. Otherwise, there's not going to be much going on. You will need some dice, people, because we're going to... Now, what are we doing? It looks like the land one is winning it. Oh, no, it's an equal split between land, sky, and subterranean. Okay, all right, out of 6 votes. My suggestion to you is, people, go in there. If you haven't voted, vote now. Somebody jumps in, vote quickly, because I'm going to just roll a dice and do it randomly if I don't have a distinctive direction to go in, okay? I think that's probably the easiest way to deal with that if people haven't selected something. So we're going to need 20-sided dice, and we're going to need percentile dice. So you'll need 10-sided dice and your percentile dice to do this today, because you're going to be making some rolls on tables that are like that. You will need a 6-sided dice as well. So make sure you've got something like that as well. And we're going to... Oh, there's my dice getting pulled out, just in case nobody rolls dice. I will be ready. So let's first have a look at what we're doing. I have a table for dealing with this. I have many tables as it happens. All of these, almost all of them are up on Patreon, so you can go and check them out there if you want to. and we're going to be using them to create our monster. I'm going to grab my phone so I can track what's going on my phone, since I will be probably looking at the other screen more often than anything else. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think that's going to be fine there. That'll be fine there. Let me bring you over to where we are. Have we got it? We don't have a definitive change. Okay, those people who are in chat, please vote. Vote. Land, marine, sky, subterranean. Which monster is it going to be? Fred Huber. Hello, Fred Huber. Fred Huber's a patron. He's suggesting undead. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we wind up with. Anyway, please vote. Please vote, people. Please vote. Okay, let's get you over to the screen that you'll need, which is this one here. No, that one there. No, this one here. Ah, this one here. This is the one. This is the one I want. Okay, bring this over. So I have a template. We're going to fill it in, and we're going to do this in less than half an hour. Now, normally when we've done this bit in the past, it's taken us much longer than that. So I'm going to be moving very, very quickly. So yes, that's the deal for today. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to use this. We're going to be using this table here, which is basically broken up into sky or flying monsters, marine, water monsters, land-based, and subterranean things that go under the ground. Okay, so we're going to be using this table. There's a whole bunch of information here. This is still in construction and testing. And I think this will be the 21st time that we've tested it. We've done 20 of them so far, and I'm hoping that we'll continue to do testing on this until I'm completely happy with what we have ultimately. Okay, that is the plan for today, and we'll be filling this in. And if you guys aren't rolling dice, then I'll be rolling dice. Very, very simple. Okay, so before we go and do this, I'm going to grab my phone. I'm also going to prompt you to start rolling some percentile dice. So we need some percentile dice rolls. Okay? Hashtag. Please roll percentile dice. So 1 to 100. 1 to 100. If you don't have dice, just pick a number. Okay? I would suggest just pick a number if you can't think of anything else. And have we got a final vote? We've got 8 votes in here. It's now a battle between sky and land. That gives me just enough time to grab my... Oops, that didn't work. Sorry, people. I thought I pressed that button. Okay, obviously it didn't work. I thought I had enough time to grab my phone, and I will. Okay. I will rejoice. Hello, Pale Rider. How are you? Okay. So, if I got my screen up here, and I'll be working quite quickly. Press this button here, and of course, I'm running into an ad. Okay. Hello, Derp. How are you? Fred Huber's rolling away. Cool. We've got some money, some dice rolls coming in. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fill this in very, very quick. We're going to first decide on whether it's going to be land or sky. I'm going to roll a 6-sided dice myself to break the tie, since we've only got 8 votes. Those of you who are here, if you vote quickly enough, you'll break the tie, and I won't be rolling the dice. So land will be 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 will be sky. It looks like it's going to be land today. Oh no, it's changed again. Oh no, there's another vote, but it didn't go in the right direction to break that tie. So land it is. Okay, so let's go over to that table and deal with that now. Where is it? It is here. Land. Land is broken up into how many different things? We can have a land with a with 2 legs or 4 legs. All right, so let's just let's just decide what we're going to do. So 1, 2, 3 will be 2 legs. 4, 5, 6 will be 4 legs. 2-legged land creature of some kind. A bipedal monster. So we have to roll 4 times. Head, body, legs, and arms. Okay, so over here, we've got limbs, we've got legs. Legs, arms. So this almost presupposes we're dealing with some sort of monstrous humanoid, I would imagine, because humanoids tend to have 2 legs, right? So that might be exactly what's happening here. So now that we've got that done, I need to start looking at the tables for land. That's flying creatures. That's marine. This is land. And the first number Pale Rider rolled up was a 45. So 45, go to 45. What is 45? 45 is a koala bear. Well, koala bear head. Okay, so we'll take koala bear head. It's a bear head. Let's put that in. That's our head. Which is... Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. He whines again. Paste. Koala bear. Or bear head. Next, we had another dice roll, and that's from Derp. Derp got a 53, so 53 is a moa body. That's like a really big bird. It's a featherless bird. It's a wingless bird, shall I say. Doesn't fly, a flightless bird. It is dead now. It doesn't exist anymore, but used to live in New Zealand, actually, along with the giant eagle. But the moa is well and truly extinct. It has been eaten, as most things tend to happen. Pale Rider's rolled up a 77, so that'll be our legs. 77. A Stegosaurus legs. Whoa, okay. 2 Stegosaurus legs. So very, very stumpy legs. It's actually coming out quite interesting so far. And so Stegosaurus legs. And then we're dealing with really arms that are going to be what? We've got 77. We've got a 10 from Fred Huber. A 10. So what is 10? 10 for our arms. Arms of a bear. So it's got bear head and bear arms. So really it's the bear arms are kind of like bear limbs, aren't they? That of a bear. So they're hairy. Whereas its legs are not hairy. Yeah, it kind of works, doesn't it? There's a lot of hair going on here. Moas are hairy too, by the way. So bear. So that kind of works. I've got a good idea of what's going on there now. That's cool. And then Pale Rider's rolled an 8. So we're going to just roll straight into the next thing, which is going to be our special abilities and our traits. I'm just going to zip past all of this. Did I get that past? Yeah, that's stat block mathematics, So all these tables I'm kind of compiling now. Don't worry about that table. Origins is the wrong one. Well, we can do origins now. I'll just go through the list as it is and then drop stuff in. So we'll get you to roll a 20-sided dice. Okay, and we've got the basic body done. So let's do the next thing on my list, which is going to be... It's going to be... Roll a 20-sided dice. Hashtag roll D20. All right. How are we doing, people? But I want 8 legs. Yeah. What's wrong with a tripedal creature? I'm not saying that you can't have a tripedal creature. I'm going to leave that to you guys, okay? Today I'm just dealing with bipedal and quadruped. So, yeah. All right, 12, 15. Okay, so back to our table again. Let's work through our tables, since that's what we're dealing with here. I'm going to go with this one, make sure I don't get this confused. And instead of trying to do this in order, I'm just going to do it in order of the tables that I've got dropped in here. So origin, 20. We've got Pale Rider has got a 12. So what is our origin? Nightmare. Oh, dear. An individual's nightmare takes the form of the monster. Okay, all right. So we go copy. And we'll put it into origin. Origins go here. Paste. Okay, it is a nightmare. Okay, wonderful. And then 15 will be whatever is the table is going to come up next is. That's role-playing, great monsters, blah-de-blah-de-blah, be careful. Okay, traits. That's 100 table, so we might come back to that and just do the 20s for now. It's another, that's powers, and okay, so I know where that is. It's a page 11, 10 and 11. Okay, move, and then down here. So this is monster diet. I'm going to add two numbers together to get our 40. So this is monster diet. It goes to 40, so 2DT, 20s would be 15 and 15 is 30, so I'll pick 30 on here. We'll see what they're going to eat. What does it eat? Oxygen. Okay, that's all very well, but probably not enough. I think most creatures require oxygen. So as a food source, it's probably not going to be quite enough. We're going to have another one as well. So we'll put that there. And there we go. It's this. See if we can prompt you again, since my my chat is not sort of catching up probably with the live stream. Keep rolling those D20s, people. Keep rolling D20s. Keep rolling those 20s so I can keep using them. Don't stop. Just keep going. If you don't roll them, I'm going to roll them. It's as real simple. If I don't see rolls from you guys, I just roll. It's very simple. I want to get this done in a much quicker time frame than what we've normally done in the past. And yeah. So so the next one is monster sensors. We'll need two 20-sided dice rolls for that. Since we're dealing with monster sensors next, so that's the next one that came up. So what have we got here? Nothing's coming through on my chat, so I will roll the dice myself. Where is a 20-sided dice and another 20-sided dice? Oh no, we've got some dice rolls coming through. So you've got here, it's a 1 and a 15 is a 16. Cool, 2 dice rolls, that's good. So we get a 16 for our monster sensors. Oh, actually we wanted another food source, didn't we? 16, what is 16? Elemental craver. The creature eats and absorbs elements such as earth, fire, water, and air. Okay, let's do that. Copy. Because that's right, we needed to have another food source, so we'll do that now. I'm fine with that. Maybe it doesn't eat meat. It's not a meat eater. It would be fun to just make it earth. Let's pick one of these. It eats earth and water. And water. Rather than meat. It's a dirt eater. Likes to eat dirt. Okay, cool. All right, now we've done that one, let's go back down and the monster sensors. How are we doing? So Pale Rider's rolled an 8 and a 16. It comes to 24. Okay, so 24 for our monster sensors. 24. We might need more than a few rolls for this one. 24 portal sense. The monster can sense the location of dimensional portals or breaches in space and time. Okay, so that's a very unusual ability. Keep rolling dice, people. Pale Rider's rolling. You're rolling dice. Yeah, working hard. Work those dice hard, man. Portal sense. Do we want anything else? Any other special kind of sense? I think that's probably enough. I think we can probably move on. So we'll leave that one and move to the next one. Monster communication. This is also 40. So Pale Rider's done. Then we got Fred Huber. He's rolled an 8, a 19. It comes to a grand total of 27. 27. What is 27 for communication method? Let's have a look. Poetry. The creature's language consists entirely of rhythmic couplets. Okay, let's just take that. Copy. And drop it in. And I'll find the communication one. Paste. Poetry. Bom, bom, bom. How are we doing, people? Fred Huber's got the 27. Okay, Pale Rider has got a 20 and a 14. 34 for whatever we do next. What are we doing next? That's weaknesses. We'll do hundreds again at some point, but I want to get zip past them. Just keep going with the 20s. Motivations is 100. We'll do them very shortly. Okay, here we go. Monster Lair. It's supposed to be 26, but I'm just going to take whatever we got here. We had a 34 before. We got a 29. It's not really a 26, but I'll do 26. Will do. I'll just pick 26. What's 26? 26 can be volcano. It lives in a volcano. Okay. All right. Copy. And what is this one? This is the lair, isn't it? Monster lair. 26 is the lair. Find a lair. Did I move past it? Yes, it's right there. Paste. No. Try again. Still not helping me. Okay, try one more time. Paste. Here we go. Cool. Volcano. That's fine. Its home is a volcano. And then if we're dealing with the next thing, after monster lair, let's just go 24. Oh, there's 24 of these. So monster society. Pale Rider got a 28. Let's just take 24. Let's go straight to the top. Theocracy. And there we go. Copy. Theocracy. So that's its society, which is quite odd. It is. It does feel like it's a humanoid, so it's bipedal. So yeah. Paste. And I think we probably need to go up here and just make sure we make it clear that it is bipedal. Bipedal. What else? What's the next thing on our list? I think that is all of the smaller tables, so we just got the bigger tables to deal with. So if I go back to 10 or 11, I think 10 or 11 had special powers and traits. And so we'll switch the type of dice that we're rolling for this one. So we're dealing with monster traits now. So let me just switch back over to the other screen. And we'll get you to punch in some different dice. So hashtag roll percentile dice again. Percentile dice 1 to 100. 1 to 100. Alright, and if you guys don't roll the dice, then I will, because that's how it works here. Alright, so drink of tea. I got my green tea. Feeling a little bit better, which is good. And we're ready to switch over and start working through this. Okay. Here we go. Here it is. So we got that. We'll deal with monster names later. We're going to do special abilities and traits in a second. Monster motivation we're going to do. Reproduction. Oh, we haven't done reproduction. Where is my reproduction table? I don't believe the reproduction table's that long. It's got to be somewhere. We've got food, we've got senses. Oh, environment is land. That's its environment. Poetry. What monster weaknesses is a table of 100, so we'll come back to that. That's fine. Pardon me. Okay, let's get some traits done. And I see that we've got some dice rolling. Pale Rider's rolled a 36. Oh, pardon me. 36. What is 36? Where is 36? 36 is fearless. The creature can't be frightened magically or non-magically and doesn't flee. Ooh, well, there you go. There's our trait. Copy. That's a trait. And paste. Now, of course, we could have more than one trait, but I'm not going to get too silly about this. Pale Rider's also got a 97. So 97 is, if we move past traits. Now you could have more than one trait, you can. I'm just rolling up one. So 97 for special abilities and special powers. 97, 97, 97. There we go. Here we go. Vapor form can temporarily change into gas, vapor, or smoke. It's a really strange ability, but let's take it. Copy. We could have more than one special ability, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go bang, that'll do. Thank you very much. And then motivation, I believe, is a table of 100. So Fred Huber's number 2 will probably be very useful. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. That is senses. We've done that one. Next is monster communication. We've done that one. Monster weaknesses is a table of 100. So number 2, agoraphobic. The monster fears places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. Dear, it is a strange weakness, but we'll take it. Copy. Down to the weaknesses. And plug that in. All right. Hurry and roll. So I did. No, I want you to roll. Just keep rolling, people. Keep rolling the dice. Oh, is my chat on my phone out of sync? Is that what you're saying? I'm just grabbing dice rolls and chucking them into the tables, people. If you thought that I'm worrying too much about who rolled first, so like I really am not worried about it at all. Just keep rolling 100 D hundreds. Just keep rolling the percentile dice. Just keep banging them out, okay? Because we're going to get this done in a swift period of time. So we've got the monster motivation. Let's go back here. Pretty sure I've got my weakness from on my monster. And what are we missing? We're missing reproduction and we're missing the motivation. So we've got to find the motivation table next. So let's go down. I think the motivation table might be after this one, if I remember right. Here we go. So here we go, another one. I'm looking above. I'm not going to go back. I'm just going forward. I don't look back. I'm looking forward. I'm not looking back. I'm going forward. So 43. Okay, 43 for motivation. What's 43? 43 is a mortal seeker. Oh, the creature seeks immortality so it doesn't age or die. Okay. I feel like that's often the view of many creatures that are sentient. The fear of death. Okay, so we've got that one, 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 and then reproduction. And I don't think the table is actually in my notes here. Oh no, it is. Oh no, that's Lear's. And then we've got society, and then we got nothing after that. Okay, so it's maybe I never ported it over. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I was looking at. I'm pretty sure no, it's not there. So okay, so I've got to find that table. Thank God there's a search function on Google. Otherwise, I'd be completely screwed. Let's get the motivation stuff. No, that's society. Let's go over here. Quick search, monster reproduction. Monster reproduction. Okay, 24 monster reproduction processes. Okay, there we go. There it is. And I'll just grab this. This is on Patreon, people. Copy. I'll drop it into this document here so I know that I've got it now. Paste. No, undo. Do it again with the formatting. Okay, that's better. And get rid of this. Don't need that. Okay, so hello Agile Monk, how are you? How's it going? So we're going to do a quick jump over to my face again and I'm going to switch to a D4 and a D8. Okay. So let's go hashtag roll a D20 plus a D4 or 1 to 24. All right, how's it going? How are we doing? I see the vote started to head towards Sky, but you've got to be fast, people. We've got to be fast. Is volume low tonight, or is it just me? The volume, it keeps getting messed around. If you're on your phone, you'll find it probably difficult. 17, Agile Monk. Agile Monk is a patron and a moderator. Thanks for being here, John. So 17, let's go back to that table and shuffle it in, get it in, and then we'll go through and do a little bit of other stuff, which is here. So reproduction, and you got 17. So 17 is seed sprout. When a seed is planted, it grows into a creature. The creature type depends on the season and location it was planted. Oh, that is so strange. That is a whack monster. It really is. It's definitely unusual. Okay, cool. Do we have all the basic elements of our monster? I feel like we do. I think Dirt was trying to include some sort of breath. Once fast plus gale creature must make a strength saving throw. It's very, 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 very 5e orientated. Is our special ability that sucky that we don't like it? Let's have a look. Vapor Perform. I guess you're looking for, this is more of an ability that is going to help it escape, and you want an attack ability. I think I know where you're going with this. So what you want is you want to roll up something that is a more of an attack thing. I get it. That's cool. Let's just do another roll. Let's do another percentile roll, and we'll change out. We'll not change out. We'll put another one in. It's fine. It's cool. We've got plenty of time. Look, we're mastering this. Hashtag roll a percentile dice. That is 1 to 100. And we'll get a special ability that's more of a, instead of an escape thing, but more of an attack thing. How's that sound? Sound alright? Sure it does. Sure it does. Let's make sure I find it. Scrolling through. Back to here. I normally, what I do is I have a whole lot of tabs lined up on my screen, and I just go through the tabs and find the thing. I haven't done that this time around, which I probably should have done, but you know, that happens. It's so time consuming. There's so many tables now. So, so I get kind of lost amongst them all sometimes. There we go. Is this a swoop attack? I think this one is the special abilities that I've got to just now. Is this the special abilities? Is it? Yes, it is. There we go. Right. So 25. 25 is... What is 25? Domination spores. The creature sprays mind-controlling spores. Oh, I like it. That's definitely an attacky thing. Copy. Mind-controlling spores. What about, I mean, it could be spores, it could be sweat, it could be fluids of some kind. It almost sort of suggests that this creature is kind of like a fungus-like creature as well, doesn't it? Let's do that. Sprays mind-controlling spores. Okay. All right, there's our monster. Hello, Wizards and Warp Drives. How's it going, Nacho? So let's have a look at what Monster Lore Exercise 21 has yielded us after going through our tables. It's going to be pretty bat crazy nuts, for sure. I guarantee that that's definitely going to happen. But yeah, I think it's going to come up with something rather unique. Okay, so the appearance. It has a koala bear head, or a head of a bear, with arms that are bear-like, so hairy and claw-like. Its body is that of a moa, but its legs are not little stalks, and the moa body is kind of like an emu body, just much larger and very hairy. It's a coarse hair, and it's got legs like a stegosaurus, but it's bipedal, so they're kind of like stumpy, I guess almost like elephant-like legs, frankly. So that is a weird creature and monster. It looks very, very strange. Its special abilities: vapor form. It can temporarily change into gas, vapor, or smoke. So it means it could get into tight locations. Dominating spores. It releases or sprays creatures with mind-controlling spores, so it can take control of them. It should probably also have some sort of claw attack and a bite attack, of course. But claw and bite, yeah, those are just basic attacks. Basic attack. Claw and bite. Sweet. All right. We could even include fart if we wanted to. The monster trait, it's fearless. The creature can't be frightened magically or non-magically, and it just doesn't flee. It doesn't flee. It doesn't run away. Its motivation is Immortal Seeker. The creature seeks immortality, so it doesn't age or die. So it doesn't want to get old and die. Fine. That's all cool. How did it come about? It's a nightmare. Some individual had a nightmare, takes the form of this monster. Its lair is a volcano, of course, because if you're going to have a monster, stick it in a volcano. It probably eats the volcanic ash because its diet is kind of like dirt and oxygen and water. How does it reproduce? It's a sprout, so it drops little seeds out of, it drops seeds, and those seeds turn into a plant, then becomes this monster. I like that a lot. The monster food, oxygen, as I said, elemental craver, so it absorbs elements such as earth and water to sustain itself, so it doesn't eat people or meat or vegetable matter. It eats dirt and water and brings in and inhales oxygen. Fine. How does it communicate? Oh no, what is its senses? It's got a special sense, so it'll probably have some sort of eyes, nose, hearing, sight. So let's say normal, sight, hearing, smell, and touch. That pretty much covers all of them. But it can sense portals. The monster can sense the location of a dimensional portal, a breach in space and time. It lives on the land, of course, because it grows from a plant. Monster communication, it communicates in poetry completely. So yes, it's probably gonna do a lot of rhyming. It's going to be an interesting communication style. It's society, theocracy. The monster society is ruled by priests, churches, and temples, or agents of a deity. So that's a really strange thing to have there, but I'm going to leave it. I mean, I'm sure we can make it work. Monster weakness, agoraphobia. The monster fears places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. This is a weird monster. It's very, very strange. Okay? Fire immunity. I don't think we're going to... Well, you want to give it fire immunity. Is this because of volcanic layer? You don't want it to burn up. Okay. All right. So I'll put in here trait. Fine. I'll add fire immunity. I can see where you're going with this. Now that we've done that, we've got to name this monster. I'm not going to do an image of it. We've done that before. I'm so sick and tired of trying to punch stuff into AI and try to get to draw the monster. It's a complete waste of my time, so I'm not going to do it. But what I will do is I will definitely get you to name the creature, because I think that's far more fun. Okay? And while you're coming up with names and I drop them in, I can have a look at chat. Hashtag, what is the name of the monster? Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so mind control, fecal dust and its farts. Yeah, let's leave that alone. It has BO and releases spores by raising its arms. Okay, so it's BO. So it's fart spores. Those spores can be released. How are they released? I see where you're going with this. Reproduction. Spores. This is the monster origin, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Monster origin, something like that. Seed sprout. Mortal, seeker, traits, vapor form, fearless, fire immunity. Oh, dominate spores. Creature sprays, mind controlling spores. Has a fart or fart, breath. Can breathe them. Breath, fart, breath, and body odor. Here we go. We covered our bases. Dominate spores, not going to be a problem. We can get that done. Very good, very good. Nice. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got some names coming through. We do. Flame bear, uni bear, lava hugger, Terra. That's a name. A teddy bear with fat legs. Exactly, it does kind of look like a teddy bear with fat legs. An Aussie creation. You reckon it's one of AJ Pickett's Aussie creations? Yeah, I suppose it could be. Okay, let's take these names and put them in. Yeah, it's got an anal gland for releasing its stuff. So let's go into the name section. Paste. And dump. Take that. Full stop. All right, let's keep Flame Beer. Not my favorite name, I have to say. Flame Beer. It's not like the beer's on fire. Okay, what else have you got here? So we've got Agile Monks, we've got John's, we've got Fred Huber's, the Uni Beer. This is a Pale Rider's idea. Why is it a Uni Beer? Is this beer like Paddington goes to university or something? Does it go to school? The Lava Hugger. We really haven't said anything about it hugging lava, so I'm not quite sure why we've got Lava Hugger, but okay, all right. Mordekaine's Nightmare. You mean like Mordekaine's Nightmare? Mordekaine's, you've changed the name just fractionally to try and avoid copyright and me saying no. I see where you're going with this. I do like the idea of naming it after a person and calling it Nightmare, somebody's nightmare. But why does it have to be Mordekaine's Nightmare? We could call it Pale Rider's Nightmare. How's that sound? It could be Sally's Nightmare. Sally's Nightmare. Anal glands of the lava beast. As now the stuff comes out. Yeah. Oh dear. The Flamin Galahar. The Flamin Galahar. All right, Nacho. I'm taking it. I'm incorporating it. We've up to 6 names now. If I've missed one, I don't think I have. Huber's Nightmare. You want to call it Huber's Nightmare? Yeah. You love Paddington. Well, I don't think this monster is related to Pennington. I think this monster is probably a big problem. Dear. Okay, so are there any more name suggestions, or are we done for today in terms of monster creation? Kind of curious now. Look at those votes; they keep bumping around, marine and land. Or are we happy with those as suggestions, and then it just comes down to what the heck it will be called? I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, we are at top of the hour. I'm running this live stream shorter than I normally would, and the reason being is very, very simple. I think a lot of people are turned off by me doing monster creation for an hour and a half. And I was looking at what we were doing and trying to decide if we were actually contributing in a useful manner, and is the live stream actually doing what it needed to do. And I realized that it didn't, which is why I decided we would pump it out real fast and just bang it all out, and then just tie it all together in some crazy way. Because you can tie pretty much everything together in some way. It doesn't need to be thought through too much. You're dealing with a fantasy creature, right? It's pronounced Gala. Oh, Gala. Oh, I see. Why not just if it's pronounced Gala? Why not just call it the Gala? Gala Nightmare. Let's just call it the Gala Nightmare. Gotcha, brother. Using my alias today. Yes, Nacho is in disguise. If you were unaware, he's disguised himself. So I kind of like the idea of the Gala Nightmare. Okay, so let's jump over here so you can see what we've got. These are the names for our monster. The Gala Nightmare is probably my favourite. The Tracatrine, yeah, can barely pronounce that thing. I think this one is the one that I like the most out of all of the ones that you guys have put forward. this one sort of sounds like it's the one to go for, if you ask me. So I'm going to highlight that as my favorite out of all the names. And yeah, we've got our appearance, we've got our special abilities, basic attack, claw, bite, dominating spores, vapor form. Our trait is fearless and fire immunity, monster motivation, immortal seeker. It's an origins as it became a thing from a nightmare, somebody's nightmare, anybody's nightmare. And then we have our monster lair, which is the volcano. Reproduction, seed sprouts. Monster food is it breathes oxygen and eats dirt, ash, and water. And water, it senses portals, normal sight, hearing, smell, and touch. Lives on land, communication and poetry, society, theocracy. Weakness is agoraphobia. So, there we are. Not bad. Now, I would normally do a stat block for these as well. In the past, I have. But I'm not doing that today. Why? Because we're doing monster maths tomorrow. I'm literally going through and redoing the troll for D&D 5e. So rather than sitting down and trying to do maths, I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to leave maths for tomorrow. Okay? Because that's where I think it's much more useful. Rather than doing the maths for a monster, I wanted to do just the monster lore. Okay, I'm not saying that we'll never come back to doing monster stat block stuff for homebrew monsters. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that I think maybe it's probably more useful to look at that another time with something else. That's really what I would do with that. Okay. So I'm ready to take off. What am I doing? I'm probably prepping for a live stream that's coming up in a couple of days, or trying to release a video. Either one of them would probably be pretty useful before I go to work. Anyway, I wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for taking part in the poll. I really do appreciate it. It's great when people do take part in the poll. It really helps a lot. You've got to get in there fast if you want to get your vote locked down. So out of the 20 votes, yeah, we eventually wound up going with land because that's where it was. Had to do a roll-off. The other thing I would like to say is I want to thank those people in chat who rolled dice, gave feedback, and have been chatting away and communicating, so I know that I'm not alone. So Wizards and Warp Drives is a patron. Thanks for being here. Nacho in disguise. Agile Monk, also a patron and a moderator. Thanks for being here. Fred Huber, also a patron. Who else? Pale Rider, thanks for being here, mate. And I think there was a couple of other people here. I can't remember. Did I miss anybody? I think that was everybody. I think those were all the people who were rolling dice. Oh, Derp, also a patron. And yeah. So yeah, don't feel bad if I did not use specifically the rolls the way you were hoping I would. Oh, DM Dungeon Mastery also. Good to have you here, mate. Thanks for hanging out. So we'll be back next week to do more Game Master preparation and make something else. It won't be a monster that time, but it'll be something. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. Go and make your own monsters. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.